Oh, well. Welcome to another Charge Attack podcast. I'm here with Luke.
Hello.
Hello. He sounds a lot better today. And I'm Ben. We've got loads of things
Ben
to go...
Ben 3. I know it's happening. She's doing better.
We've got a lot of things to go through. We've got Stadia's had an update. Destiny 2's giving a little bit of a teaser for what they've got coming up, as well as Pokemon Sword and Shield have had another direct. But first of all, we're just going to go through the free games of the month because they've come out now. We try to do this as best as possible every single month whenever we get the chance. We'll go a quick overview of them, what we think of them, and whatnot. It's not too much in the way of super fancy and super cool, but it's best to let you know anyway. So Xbox will start off with them. NHL 19, if you're a sports fan, there you go.
Nah.
If you like hockey, if you're Canadian, isn't it? It's the Canadians that apparently love their ice hockey. If you're Canadian, this is your month. If you haven't bought 2019 NHL, you can get it now for free this month with Xbox. Rivals of Aether. That's a nice looking little indie game. Should be a good time sink. I mean,
fighting game.
It's nothing that I'm gonna sink lots of time and hours into, and it's nothing you go out of your way for. But again, it's a nice little additive. You've then got Golf Club 2019.
It's golf.
I mean, I do feel like golf is quite a select audience, but if you are somebody that do love your golf,
it's got a battle royale mode there, apparently.
I wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I don't know what it is. I enjoy the mini golf games because they always just seem just so ridiculous. Like, you can be a little bit more ridiculous, but when you go for like these golf club simulators, they go for these ultra realism, and I haven't got enough. Like,
that's too adult.
Yeah, it's too adult. I'm too much of a child still. So that's still available. That's going to be available this month. And then last of all, we also do have Portal Still Alive, and that's quite cool. That's an Xbox 360 title.
It is.
Portal games are always great. They're just amazing games. That's definitely worth the download. No matter whether you're going to play it this month or not, just download it, put it on your hard drive, keep it there for when you've got a good
That's the only
weekend.
one I'd get.
There we go. I mean, would you not just download them anyway? Or, no, you wouldn't grace them with your hard drive, would you?
No, grace my hard drive with them. No.
So that's some sort of mediocre. There's one standout great title in there. The others are a little bit sport based and a little bit smaller, which is fine. Nothing phenomenal or blown out of the water though, so that's fine. That's just sort of what you expect for like free games every so often. PlayStation done a slightly better month this month.
This was awesome.
But in comparison to their like some of their prior months, is they've got Borderlands the Handsome Collection. That's just awesome. You can't really fault that at all.
Perfect timing.
I was going to say, just as E3's coming up, just as they're going to talk more about Borderlands 3, I mean, you've then got the Handsome Collections, then you can play all of them on the build-up. Depends how quickly you play games. But Borderlands 3 is literally only 3 months away, which is a horrible thought how quickly we're going through this year.
Shut up.
It is June already, which is quite cool. So you've got that available from PlayStation, and then you've also got Sonic Mania, which is one of the better Sonic games.
I never played that one. I played the other one.
You played the other one. Do you know what? Your descriptions of games are it's just so in depth and phenomenal.
It's one with Shadow and Silver, you know it.
The
good one.
Borderlands and Sonic with PlayStation, it's much better. But I mean, we have discussed this a lot before, and we won't keep bleating on. We try not to anyway. Bleat on about it, but it's only 2 games, and that's all they're giving you. There's no PS3 games, no PS Vita games. You've got our extra money. Come on. Show us what you've got, and this is good. It's a more of a step in the right direction, and I believe this is definitely what people would like more. But, and there is that but, is it enough? And I still don't think people are going to appreciate this enough.
If there's only going to be 2 games, they need to be 2 big games.
Yeah. But then the problem is something like the Handsome Collection, they normally throw this on offer really cheap anyway, and it does really well. So, yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things, isn't it? They can't keep releasing AAA games that everybody has already bought, because otherwise they're gonna. Do you see the dilemma?
Yeah.
And it's just sort of, you can't win either way. So they just need to be picking and choosing the right ones. I mean, this is where like backwards compatibility, if that became available, or like instead of like their backwards compatibility, they're just sort of like, okay, well every month we're going to release one PS4 game that's like really interesting and cool, and then we're going to release 2 PS2 games or PS3 games now with this capability, AAA games, and then you've got a chance to now play them on your modern console. That would be quite cool, but that's just things for PlayStation to look into. But they are going to be coming up later on in the podcast because PlayStation have done another price hike, despite obviously all the deals that are going on now that E3 has started, is about to begin. But yeah, we'll come back to that later on in the podcast. Ready for the big one?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Stadia, they actually finally did something.
After we mocked them and ridiculed them last week.
Exactly. We mocked them and ridiculed
them.
They heard. See, it's just us, a plucky little individual podcast and talk show, or whatever you want to call us.
What the hell we are.
Yeah, whatever we are. There's some two guys talking in a bedroom through a microphone. They obviously have listened to us. They took what we said to heart, and they thought we better give Ben and Luke some of those details, which is definitely what happened. So they've given basically a massive update. Obviously in preparation for E3, they wanted to get around the same sort of time when everybody's thinking about video games. So sort of wise, again, this is where the problem is what they should have been doing a little bit more on the build up to this. Because I was so sort of teethingly a little bit peeved from the first one, where I'm just sort of like, they're being way too ambitious. They left it too late for me, and now I'm still cynical about. I'm now cynical about it because they haven't tried to sway me. They've just gone, oh yeah, look what we've got, this great system, and then they've just come in with this second update 3 months down the line and gone, yeah, this great system, and we're doing everything perfectly. It's like, well, no, I wanted to hear more from you. But what I'm planning to do, and you will hopefully be able to hear this in the tone of my voice, is I'm going to look at this in the most professional way possible and be the most justifiable and non-scrutinizing way possible. That's not even a word. That's what I'm going to try and do, is trying to be fair and just and try and pick out as much of the good things as I can from them. But it doesn't start off great. So, of course it wouldn't. It's so they start off obviously introducing themselves, letting you know a little bit about them, what they're doing and whatnot, and they hit you with the hard figures straight away, and that is the speeds that you'll need for visual appeal. Now, they do have a scale, which we will provide a link to the direct that they gave, and essentially what this scale shows is what is possible at the top end when you're doing really, when you've got that brilliant internet connection and it's downloading perfectly, what you're able to get, and then what's at the lower end. So at the top end, they have got 35 megabits per second download speed you need for this. You will be able to get 4K gaming at 60 frames per second. So it's essentially what they need to be doing. It's that sort of PC sort of territory. That's a lot of the Xbox and PlayStation don't quite seem to hit that every single time now. So that's an edge. See, I'm being positive, loving and caring.
And now
at the lower end of the scale, they have 10 megabits per second, which will give you 60 frames per second at 720p. That's reasonable. I could see as somebody that ventures a lot of skill in game, because I'm so good. It's not a laughing matter. 720p wouldn't upset me too much,
depending on the game for me.
I mean, yeah, I can. There is something really nice about viewing something in 4K on a big TV and whatnot, and you do one of those weird things where you do notice the differences.
Yeah,
you definitely notice the differences. But if you can just sort of see past that and you don't really mind if it was between not playing a game and playing a game, and it was 720p, I'd still play the game, sort of thing. I'm not going to go, this is why I'm not a PC gamer. I don't look and go, well, that could be better, so I'm not playing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I think that's reasonable. 10 megabits per second, for me, in my household, I could do that easily. Okay, so I paid not too much money, but I get 100 megabits per second download speed. That's what I'm supposed to get. That's what it's up to.
Yeah.
So, this is the thing, is my internet, for the most part, is normally around about I'd say 40 to 60 megabits per second download. So for me, I could potentially get away with the 4K at 60 frames per second. How's your internet, Luke?
I don't know. It depends on every other 5 seconds.
Well, I happen to know your internet speeds, and yours is 25 megabits per second.
Gash.
It's gash.
I don't get that anyway.
So you, and again, that's up to. So with trying not to be too cynical here, with all best intentions and with great thought going forwards to you, Google and Stadia, is 35 megabits per second is somewhat doable. However, because internet can fluctuate in your home depending on who's using it, how much is being used,
Time of
there's
day.
time of day, there's all sorts of fluctuations and reasons it can go up and down. Even my internet, which can go up to 100, will still go down to something like, say for example, 25 just at random moments. And even if it is just for a couple of seconds, that's something that you will probably notice in game, which
You're going to start getting lag,
yeah. And then if you, say for example, just have a little glitch of time, with your download speeds, and it ends up going down to, like, say for example 6 or 7, then you're not going to be having a good time, essentially.
You need potentially get kicked out of the game depending on what you're playing.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem, is like, when you're playing online games anyway, you're constantly connected to the internet, and they seem to run relatively smoothly. So it depends on how well it controls it. And I think Google have enough money and enough way with the internet to be able to bring that sort of to it and help keep it controlled and working smoothly. However, because the whole console and everything is running off of this download, you're not just playing the game online, you're also playing, the game has to come from online and everything as well.
Exactly, you're literally streaming the environment around you. It's not preloaded.
It's going to be probably a little bit harder to maintain, I'm going to say. So I wouldn't say this is a great start. And bearing in mind, we live in areas where we have good internet.
Yes.
You've got to remember that there is a lot of people out there, especially in a lot of rural areas. So say, for example, my parents, they live on a barn. Weirdly, they actually don't have internet at the moment, very good one. But when they do get their internet installed, they're predicted at up to 15 megabits per second.
Which is nothing in today's market.
And that is not going to basically survive this, I wouldn't say. That's up to 15. That means they're going to be probably on average, probably about 5. And the moment you get below 10, they didn't even say.
Netflix is going to struggle on that sometimes.
Yeah, it might do.
Exactly.
And that's just streaming, just visual, something just visual, not with you interacting with it and the signal having to go in to the servers and the servers coming back and blah, 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 blah. So it's just something that they need to consider and put into mind. But you're really cutting off a lot of people. There are so many people that can't do this, and they can't basically get this into the. You could give this out for free, and there's still hundreds of millions of people that would not play it because they cannot play it because they haven't got good enough internet. So if you're saying that you're giving it out for free and still nobody's having it, that's not a good sign. But I'm getting too cynical. It's just
it's nice that it's got the capability to go to that extent, but for the amount of people who will not have the capacity to run it at that, it's going to fall short for a lot of people. They're not going to get the best they can out of it, so they won't bother, I think.
So I'm
definitely on that side
I think
of the fence.
when you look at this and you think about, say for example, PlayStation, where you've got a system where they can all take it home, they all plug it in, it's all fine. I mean, somewhere like Japan, most of them have plug-in Ethernet ports and whatnot. They don't deal with Wi-Fi like we do. This is something they're definitely not going to be able to utilise, because then they have to be plugging up their TV. Oh no, you want to be playing on your iPad, you've got to plug in your iPad. You want to be playing on your... Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You need to have that strong Wi-Fi connection, especially when one of the key factors that they're talking about is the mobility of this and the fact that you can play it on the go. And that's the other thing that comes into it, is like playing on the go, and we've spoken about this before, is almost not possible at the moment for these sorts of qualities and whatnot. And they have recently obviously released 5G, which should be able to give those capabilities, and it should get us up to there. But 5G is very new. I mean, 4G has not really been fully phased in and controlled
No,
well or
exactly.
anything like that. So now we're on to 5G, and it's not fully phased in. It's not quite ready.
It's only in
It's
certain
going to be
areas.
super expensive as well at the moment, because obviously
And only
it's
certain
brand
handsets are
new.
supporting 5G, so it's a case of get a new phone, to get a new gaming platform to play these new games. It's money on money on money.
So you're already setting yourself up for these sort of bad. The moment that you turn around to someone and say, "Oh no, you're going to need this," "Oh, and now you're going to need this," and you're immediately. This is why a lot of people go to console gaming rather than PC gaming, is because lots of people don't want the faff of, oh, you have to get this graphics card and do this, and then you have to be upgrading this and make sure your computer's doing this. A lot of people don't want that. What people want and what people like, and this is, I'm definitely fall into this category, is they just say, look, you
Plug and
pick
play.
up you pick up our console, you take it home, you plug it into your TV, and you plug it into your wall, you turn it on and you play your game, and then you're done, and you don't have to worry about any of this. This is where it starts to get complicated, convoluted. If you don't have the right data plan, if you then go over your data plan, you're going to end up costing more here.
You're going to
more
rinse
there.
your data.
Exactly. This is sort of the issues that come with hand. And then to go on top of this and to finalise on this subject is, when it comes to being mobile, if you're staying in a hotel, I've never had a hotel Wi-Fi that has been amazing.
No. Any public sort of Wi-Fi is absolute garbo.
Yeah,
Everyone knows
that's a very polite
it.
way to put it. So that's just another thing to consider, and you've got to remember that. So if you were ever thinking, oh yeah, I could get Stadia, I'll play all my games on the go, no, you won't, unfortunately. At the moment, at this very given time, you won't be, and there's a lot of people that won't be able to. So realistically, when I'm looking at these figures, and you've got PlayStation that sold over pretty much 100 million copies of PlayStation 4s, when I think about Stadia and how that's going to even amount to anything like that, the way I'm looking at it, I think in Stadia is going to be at like 5 million sales at most.
Yeah.
Not looking good, I would
Not because
say.
the case. It's not because that people don't want it. It's because they physically can't use it.
See,
That's going to be.
and that is a productive and constructive criticism where we weren't being negative about Google or the Stadia.
I really love the idea they've got. Like, I think it could work quite easily, but there's just too much out of their control that's going to make it not work for them.
Yeah.
So maybe this feels like it's too early.
It's too
Come
early.
back in like 2030 when
Yeah, when it's a
internet
little
is-
bit better, and we've got worldwide Wi-Fi then, and
Exactly.
that's probably the best way to analyze what's going on. And someone needs to break down the door, and you've got to commend Google for this, because they are breaking down that door and they're putting it out there, and they're going to now be looking at ways to support this. However, it's just too early at the moment, I would say.
we're not ready.
We're not ready. But moving on from that, because we spent ages talking about just the download speeds there and everything, they did recommend that you get the Stadia controller, because it will give the best connection to the servers. That is their words, not mine. So
How?
I don't know. I'm not a technician. So essentially, it will connect more directly to their servers, and when you're interacting with the controller, it goes directly to them, rather than it going to, say, for example, the Chromecast, and then going to the servers and then coming back. So you get less latency. I don't know whether they're saying this in the sense that it's going to be like say, for example, you know how like they sell professional gaming controllers, and they've got like the least latency, and they all have to be plugged in, because plugged in is faster than wireless. Something that me and you will never notice because we are not smart. Do you know what I mean? Like those sorts of controllers where they've got like little to no latency.
I think of all the latency issues to worry about, I don't think the controller's the one to worry about.
But what I'm saying is that, is it going to be like that with this controller, where it's just like that absolute edge, where it's a teeny weeny little bit, but it makes a big difference when it comes to like professional gaming or anything?
It'd be nice to see the difference.
Or are they saying, actually, no, what we mean is that rather than it taking half a second for your character to react, using this controller will take 1/10 of a second, which that sounds not too bad. I mean, that
Why
is
don't they
horrendous.
just don't allow other providers to make controllers for it?
What, like a mouse and keyboard and all of this and all of that? And like playing on an iPad, I think the idea when you're playing on an iPad is that you can just use the iPad as a controller. Otherwise, this is really then ridiculous. But anyway, so moving on, that's what they're recommending. Obviously, this controller has a capture button, a straight upload to YouTube button. That's something that's quite funky and quite cool, but we've spoken about this before. It's a bit of a gimmick. It's one of those things
last
where
thing you're doing
you
is-
like it and you think it's cool, but then the moment that you get it, you never use it.
Could you imagine you're streaming your game and then it goes absolute crap because you're suddenly uploading in 4K to YouTube at the same time?
no.
You're just like, oh well.
Yeah, you will just... If you're on a data plan, then you would be in big
Bye.
you'd
No,
be
you're
in
not.
big trouble.
You will owe them data at the end of the month.
So, once they'd talked about all of this, then they showed the main showcase of the games. They had a couple of little individuals to show and whatnot. They started off with Baldur's Gate 3. Now, I've never heard of Baldur's Gate 2 or 1 before. I believe
I'm on that one with you.
Have you ever seen any footage or anything like that?
Nope.
No, it was my
I've heard the name, but that's it.
It was my plan to read up about it and watch some videos, but I completely forgot, so that's my bad.
But we did see that other game that looked fucking awesome.
Yeah, but that's coming up in a bit. So Baldur's Gate 3, they just showed a teaser trailer for it. So this is not in-game graphics. This is obviously a cutscene where it showed a paladin knight, medieval times, obviously, getting like transformed into a Cthulhu. I think they're called Cthulhu, the big tentacle monster things.
Yep.
Blah, blah, blah. The thing that what's he called? Zenyak, and one of his skins from Overwatch can be.
Cthulhu.
Yeah, that's Cthulhu. There we go. I'm right for once. This is a first. He can tell it's like him like malforming, like his teeth falling out, and then his like skull breaks open, his hair falls out. Pretty beautiful stuff. It was quite an interesting trailer. They talked a little bit about the game afterwards as well, but we didn't see any gameplay or anything like that. So the moment that it comes to like developers' words and whatnot, I'm not really going to take the word as say until I see what they're making.
Yeah.
Because developers will always tell you how they've made it this and they've wanted to do this and they've wanted to do that, but that doesn't necessarily come out in the game. Make sense? So
yeah, it's easy to say things, isn't it?
Yeah. So that was Baldur's Gate 3. That was announced. Looks really cool from just the trailer. Keep your eye on that. I'd say it has the potential to be quite cool and funky. I'd like to know more about it. Next, they showed Ghost Recon Breakpoint. You ever played any Ghost Recons?
No.
Nope. Oh, God, what sort of professional are we? I've played some.
I have played one game. So sorry.
I've played Ghost Recon. I played Wildlands, just a little bit, not too much, not stoke loads. It was great fun when you're playing with your mates. That was when it was at its best, and this is what they're going back to again, is playing with your mates and whatnot. It was just your typical sort of Ghost Recon intro. It's like, oh yes, this is Fall of Civilization. I'm just a one-man army, taking people out, killing terrorists and horrible people, the usual sorts of things, fighting in jungles. Looks exactly like what I'm describing is exactly what you're going to get, is sort of a cinematic intro to it. Where
I feel
just
like
people
companies these days rely on people making their own entertainment out of these games. Like, we'll make like an okay game, but when you play it with your mates, because they're funny, you'll have fun playing it.
Yeah. I mean, that can work in some games. So something like, say, for example, Gang Beasts, where that's all about just stupid ridiculousness that you have with your friends or with people online. That's what it does well, but I guess that game is marketed like that, rather than this game is made out like this whole badassery. And I'm sort of a little bit getting fed up with just constantly seeing shooters and, oh yeah, you're shooting this and you're shooting that. Like, you don't need... Where are your swords? Come on, whip them out. That's not as dirty as it sounds. But one thing they did show with this, and I'm not 100% sure, because it didn't specify it exactly in the trailer, so I may be wrong here, but what it did show is it showed like your character's view and then your teammates their view in like the top corner. So you can see sort of like what, so then obviously you in Ghost Recon you have to work with your teammates and whatnot to take out enemies and whatnot. That was a massive motorbike just went by.
Should start that sentence again.
No. So obviously you work with your teammates and whatnot on Ghost Recon. It's being able to see what they see is really cool idea, and I feel as though it's weird that I haven't seen that come into a game before.
No.
Like being able to see it, like,
because
then you know that your teammate is looking at the right guy, you know that your other person is making sure he's got the right equipment out and he's laying the right trap or he's running in the right direction. That's really cool. I really like that. That is actually genuinely, when I saw that, I was just sort of like, that makes me want to...
That would screw me up, because I'd be like...
You spend too much time looking at your teammate.
No,
what are you doing? He's there, like, he's there, like, running around in the sky.
No, because I can't then like bluff my way out of situations. I didn't throw that grenade. Like, I literally saw you do it. No, you didn't.
Well, when you're always the one making the mistakes.
It'd be like screenshots all over again, but on video games now.
So that looks quite good. I know that they'll have more to show of Ghost Recon Breakpoint at E3 anyway. So I'm sure more details will come out about that, and then we'll be able to confirm that and let you know whether I was correct or I was wrong and I look like a fool right now. Sound like a fool. Next they showed was a game called Gylt, so spelled Gylt. It was a horror indie-based game. Looked quite interesting and cool, sort of puppet sort of style, looking creatures and monsters chasing you around, horror survival game. They just showed a little girl running around what looked almost like a school or a mental hospital, the usual. Yeah. And then there was some, like, I can't even try and describe it, chupacabra, I'm going to call it, some, like, monster thing, like, chasing her around.
Bigfoot?
No, a chupacabra is not a Bigfoot. A chupacabra steals goats.
Yeah, it's like a big, like, Bigfoot thing.
No, it's really not.
Thing.
Anyway, this is a gaming podcast. We'll get back to gaming now.
No, let's deep dive some conspiracy theories about...
If you want to hear more about our discussions on mythical creatures, leave a comment.
I fucking love dragons.
I love dragons. That looks quite cool. They didn't show, again, too much. It's got a really nice, unique design to it, like I was saying.
Indies are good at that.
Indies do amazing with those sorts of things. So, something to keep an eye out for, and it's on Stadia.
I don't do horror games.
You don't do any games from...
Scary.
Didn't do Baldur's Gate 2 or 1. I haven't done Ghost Recon.
I did Tom Clancy's once.
just a Tom Clancy.
I don't know which one it was. No. You can go invisible.
One of the last games they showed was Get Packed, which we thought looked really cool.
It's like a slapstick, just over the top ragdoll physics.
So we were there talking a minute ago about like a gang beasts and how that is,
I love ragdoll.
That's like a game where you're playing with your mates. It's just stupid humour. This is exactly
flat
that.
full, full flat. It tickles me. I shouldn't find it funny, but I do. Slapstick is always good in my book.
It's got couch co-op and obviously online gameplay. The couch co-op does confuse me a little bit because I'm not sure how this is going to work. Because obviously if they're promoting it on all of these platforms and all of these devices, how are you going to do a couch co-op of a game like that on a tablet? I'm hoping that it still works. Like so they're able to just divide it up.
You come round, you connect with your friends.
Yeah, but if you're connecting with your friends, then it's not really couch co-op then, is it?
Yeah, but they have their own devices. You connect and then log in, maybe.
Yeah. Or what, as in they'll log in to using your ID and password?
Yeah, like what the Nintendo Switch does with Quiplash and Jackbox games. You maybe sign in to that.
That's a good.
Thing.
That would be quite cool.
Yeah,
that's a really good idea. Like
doesn't
maybe
require
it does work like that.
The subscription or the game thing to access.
Yeah. They didn't say exactly. I mean, like the way Luke just described it then would be amazing if they could do that.
Get given a code, go to his website, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, a great way to get round it. But they didn't mention how they were doing it, so it'd be interesting to see further down the line, especially if you're wanting to play the game and you've got it on your phone and it's saying it's couch co-op and it's not playing couch co-op because you're playing on your mobile. It's then only couch co-op when you're playing it on TV and only if you have two different Stadia controllers.
Yeah, you have to
see the confusion.
Get your mate to come around with his Stadia controller.
Yeah, but then it's not couch co-op because then you're using two different devices.
Exactly.
This is where it gets confusing. But that game looks quite cool, and essentially all we saw is just a load of people run into a house, try to steal all the furniture and put it into a truck
and then they got run over.
And then they all got run over by a car.
That was hilarious.
That's cool. That is what I love seeing. I love seeing these smaller titles that
it's not serious.
They bring you so much joy. I mean, Borderlands 3 does a great job of being humorous, but not to the humour levels that will do. Because that will be the sort of thing where you sit on your sofa with your friends and you throw a slice of pizza at him when he pushes you in front of a car with a barrel of beer or something like that on screen.
Live action comedy, isn't it?
And those were the main ones that they showed there. They did have other games which they did come out with. And we'll get onto that in just a second. Where they now... Oh, God, I've completely lost my train of thought there, didn't I?
Start again now.
So, essentially, now what they've done is they've announced their price plans and whatnot. So, there is Stadia Pro, which is $9.99. Okay, so that for the UK is probably going to be £9.99.
Yep.
That's our exchange rate pretty much now. This is a monthly subscription service, so you're every month you're obviously paying £10, and I believe, I'm not 100% sure on this because they don't address it very well. They go over it very briefly, and I'll talk about it.
Talk about payments.
We'll talk about
they get
it. We'll talk about it in a second. You'll understand where I'm going through with this. So the way they mentioned this is they said you can buy Stadia Pro for $9.99 a month. Okay, and then they went on to the Stadia Founders Edition. So remember that the Stadia Pro is $9.99 a month. Okay, it's going to come up in a sec. Then they went on to talk about the Stadia Founders Edition, which is $129. Okay, and this comes with a Chromecast, so you can plug it into your TV, make it a smart TV. You can then play these games and whatnot on your TV. You get the limited edition Night Blue controller, quite cool. You get 3 months of Stadia Pro for yourself, and 3 months for a friend so they can try it out. Quite cool.
You buy it, I'll have your free trial.
I'm not buying this.
You got better internet, you said.
I've got better internet, but that doesn't mean that I have the money. You then also get exclusive access to a Stadia name. So obviously, if you pre-order this, then you can get the Stadia name that you want.
Oh, you're first to put your name in.
Yeah, so you're just sort of like, I want to name myself the Big Fat
Balls
Gecko.
deep.
Before we've gone 2 different levels there, didn't we? I want to call myself the Big Fat Gecko. If I wanted to do that now, obviously I'm way too late into the PlayStation life cycle and whatnot. I wouldn't be able to get a name like that. Just outright.
We've tried so many times.
Not for that a specific one, but that's just an
anything.
Example. So the problem I do see with that is, say for example, if there's a big YouTuber or somebody that is well known, so let's say for example Ryan Reynolds. Someone will just use Ryan Reynolds as their username. So then when Ryan Reynolds goes to get his Stadia, because I bet you he has good internet, he will not be able to have Ryan Reynolds as his username, and he will not make another Detective Pikachu film through sheer spite. I mean, it's obviously this is all in theory. Foreshadowing. Ryan Reynolds doesn't play video games. He's too fit for that.
He's too busy making gin or something, isn't he, at this moment?
Either that or just making more brilliant comedies. Anyways, so that's what so those are the main ones that you get there. So that's the Chromecast, the controller, 3 months pass for yourself and a buddy, exclusive access to a Stadia name, and Destiny 2. And you get the full collection of Destiny 2. So that's the beginning, the base game, expansion 1, expansion 2, Forsaken, Light, I forgot what it's called. You know what I'm talking about. Whoever's listening, if you're interested in Destiny, you know what I'm talking about. And you will also get the new one, the new expansion, which is Shadowkeep. No cheers or anything for that?
They're getting their little hooks in with me on this one.
Yeah. So we'll talk more about Destiny 2 in a minute. But you get the whole experience, which is quite cool. This is all included in the price package. And what you can also do is transfer your character from any other console to Stadia. So if you are a PlayStation owner or an Xbox owner or even a PC owner, yeah, that'll still work. You can transfer your save and your character from those across to Stadia, which is great. This is all because now Activision obviously has left Bungie, left Destiny, whatever way you want to put it.
Yep.
So they're now their own publishers and developers. So then they have this freedom to go to say to everybody, no, if you want our game, you have to make it available to everybody, sort of thing, which is quite cool. Stadia probably paid maybe a little bit of money to get this to work.
Well, it took them to get PlayStation to allow that.
Well, obviously Activision had the control there, so because Activision's now gone, they have no control. So that's quite cool. I mean, the only problem I can see with that is, and we'll talk about it in a bit, is the fact that essentially, if you've already got Destiny 2 and you've put all your hours in and you play it on console, again, with the internet problems and everything that we've just discussed, chances are you're going to be playing Destiny 2 on the Stadia at home when you've already got your PlayStation,
big switch
Xbox.
For potentially not a lot of gaining content if you've bought everything else already.
It's a nice feature, it's there, and even if only 500...
It's nice if you're starting out, definitely.
500 people use it, if only 500 people use it, then so be it.
They did say it's limited edition, didn't they? There's only certain amounts, so...
I mean, I'm pretty sure the Destiny 2 switchover will be constant.
Oh yeah, but there's only so much people can register for the Founders Edition.
Oh yeah,
so only so many people will have access to everything that's in that bundle. So
where are you going with this?
Well, not everyone's gonna be able to get it. There's only so many amount of people.
Oh right, okay, yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. So yeah, essentially, there's only so many people that will have this deal anyway. Yeah,
It's the pre-order people, isn't it?
yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Anyway, so yeah,
There's a limited amount who can pre-order.
Ignore everything we just said for the past minute and a half.
As you said, you idiot.
Just ignore me. So that's what comes with the Stadia Founders Edition. Okay, Chromecast, controller, passes, exclusive access to Stadia name, Destiny 2. Capiche?
Love it.
Confirmed. All's good.
I think it's pretty good for a new start.
So, keeping in mind that obviously I said that the Stadia Pro, you have to pay $9.99 a month and whatnot. The other thing is that you can actually still buy these games outright anyway. So, and they haven't explicitly said it. So, is Stadia Pro just going to be like a Netflix subscription where you basically pay $10 a month and you get access to every single game in the library? Or will it only give you access to certain ones? They didn't go into that, which I feel like they should have done if it was that good. Or is Stadia Pro sort of like having PlayStation Plus? Because then essentially, like PlayStation Plus, is you get all of these discounts off all of these games and you get a couple of free ones a month. But you still have to pay for everything.
That's what Xbox do with the Game Pass, isn't it? You pay so much to access to these games, then if you want to keep it, you then buy it at a reduced rate. But then does that then require you to download the game to keep it? Because if it's going to be removed off the gaming library, say 2 months down the line, have you then got to download that game to keep it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's the weird thing.
Then removing the whole aspect.
If you're buying these games, and obviously you can't download them, so you're just buying the right to constantly use them anyway.
So they basically no game will ever be deleted off that.
Yeah, well, that's what they're saying. Unless they then refund people, but then that's just see what I mean?
Yeah.
We're just opening up more corridors and corners of problems that they haven't quite answered, and they need to be answering these again. Trying to be positive, not negative. They need to address these items to ensure that their customer base is formally advised on the way to use their system. That is the most professional thing I've ever said in my life.
Never again will that ever happen.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's not going to happen again. So just bear that in mind. So there is a standard edition that you can buy where essentially you can just buy the games outright and play them. You can get the Stadia Pro edition, and for a limited time and for limited quantity, there is the Stadia Founders edition. God, that was a mouthful. Okay, ready to move on?
Steady go.
Okay, let's go. Next up is the fact that they're basically saying that the controllers, there are additional controllers that you can buy separately. They will cost $69 each. So for us in Britain, that will probably be about £69 or £60, I guess, if we're lucky, which is fine. Those will come in black, white, or wasabi.
Wasabi, green.
Wasabi. See, it's like a light green, very, very pasty light green, or pale blue, depending on the way you look at it. I mean, that's just a random colour that they threw in there.
I thought wasabi was like a dark green, but there you go.
Well, that's where
wasabi,
either that or my eyes are going, and I'm colourblind. It's one of the two. Moving on.
Moving on. Black or the white.
And then what they did is they basically showcased then a load of other games that are going to be coming to Stadia. They didn't explicitly say that these were coming on release day, but I could assume that they probably will be because they need some sort of a roster.
They need something to kick it off.
And there were quite a few, and these aren't all of them. Obviously, the ones I mentioned before are there, but there's the main ones that I noticed in what they showed is Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Mortal Kombat 11, Rage 2, Final Fantasy 15, Just Dance, and FIFA. And Just Dance is going to be one of those weird ones where you're then going to have to connect it up, and then if you're playing
Just Dance... Just Dance on your mobile.
Well, you never know, they could...
Well, I'm supposed to look at the screen and dance.
We won't go down that route and whatnot. And like we were saying before, is obviously you can buy these games outright. I don't know. It's just such a weird, like the whole setup with this whole gaming, like what you can and you can't buy. I mean, we all thought originally that it was just going to be one price packet, $10 a month, say for example, and then you have access to all of their games. But now they're saying, oh no, you can buy certain games and not have the Pro Pass, but you need the Pro Pass for some other things. And then
do you rent then games potentially then?
I mean,
if you don't have the pass, you say right, you pay £3, you've got it for 2 weeks.
I mean, that could work really well, I think. That would be really cool. That's a good way to bring modern day gaming to make it cheaper for people. And
especially for games, because at the moment, obviously a lot of places you can rent movies digitally, and it's like a few pound different than buying it. And at which point, you may as well just buy the bloody thing.
Yeah.
At least with this, you may save yourself a massive chunk before actually then buying it. So, but
yeah, again, this is like, if say for example, the Stadia Pro, if you pay for that, if you get all the games for free, then you're going to be getting Destiny 2 all for free anyway. Don't matter whether you got the Founders Pack.
yeah.
So see, it just starts to get confusing. And again, they addressed it, but they didn't address it, and that's the issue. Not being cynical, not being
Half
negative.
answers.
It's not efficient enough for me. Okay. So all in all, that's everything that they sort of showed. So what do you think about the system then, Luke? And you've got to be as professional as possible.
Oh, well.
No, just give the information in a formal manner where we're not being too negative, or say it in a way that you can just go, this is what needs to be addressed for this, rather than our usual.
I really like the idea that they've got with this. The idea and their foundation behind it is genuine. They just want to make gaming easier and accessible for more people. I just don't think it's got real world application just yet.
Yeah.
At least not in a wide scale enough area to warrant this. And there's not enough information yet to sway people.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of how will it work, what will happen if this goes wrong, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So more information is definitely required on this. I would like to see how it plays when it comes out, and just see sort of, say, just using your at home on Wi-Fi, what sort of quality of game will you get out of it, and if it's going to be dropping out every 5 minutes. So I want to see a lot of sort of test plays and things.
Yeah, I would say that's a completely fair and good overview of the whole.
I hope it goes well.
Stadia.
But I think they're very limited.
There's nothing wrong. It's always better to have more people working towards better video game experiences for everybody. We're not shitting on Google when we say that we don't like it, and we don't like this and we don't like that, in the sense that we're thinking, oh no, just give up now. What we're trying to put across is a way to say, you can't do this with half a thought. And at the moment, like you're saying, is it's not bad. It's a great idea, and it's got a place in this world. It's just maybe you're a bit too early, but maybe this is their plan, and they know that it's not going to go so well at the start, and that would be great. Maybe this could be their way of introducing a new way to bring internet to more people.
Mm-hmm. It might spark something.
Exactly. That's what you've got to. That's what, in a realistic way, we take away from it, but it's still not.
It's very new technology
for most common people. It's
common people,
peasants like us. It's not quite a viable solution for me yet. From what they're showing and what's available, even me with my 100 megabits potential of download, it's still not viable for me. You cool with that?
Perfectly fair, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was
Some people it will
decent
suit down to the ground, and other people it just won't not sit well.
Yeah,
it won't work in their lifestyle and their gaming habits.
Yeah, I mean, like, one of the things I was going to talk to you about is, like, is this going to be worth it? But because they were so still not quite sure on what the package deals are and whatnot, and what they're offering you and how it's going to work, I don't think it's really...
I can't make a fair answer.
Yeah, but for the most part, most of the world will not have access to this console and the way to play this, and then it's already putting a lot of people off with its already starting standpoint, so they're not off to a great start, I would say, with this.
No. It's a bit of a shame.
It's a shame. Right, we're going to move on from that.
Yeah.
We can stop being professional and critiquing now.
It's all a bunch of shit.
Yeah, I was going to say, what a wank console.
Not a console's a platform.
No, it's a platform. Yeah, you don't need a console for that, do you? That's why it didn't fucking work. Anyways, moving on. So Destiny 2 Shadowkeep got announced. So they just showed a trailer, again, another cinematic. They didn't show any gameplay, any of the new abilities or any of the new weapons or anything like that. I mean, when they were showing some of the Destiny 2 stuff in the Stadia showcase, there was some stuff in that game that I hadn't seen before.
A few new abilities I saw.
Yeah, like a massive shield and whatnot. But to be honest, that could have been from Forsaken. That got released after I stopped playing it because I dropped out of Destiny. That I don't know what they did to update it. Obviously, they've been making a lot of changes and whatnot. So, anyways, we'll try and keep it focused. This is the first expansion from Bungie as the publisher and the developer. So they've not got the reins of Activision. However, they have got reduced money in a certain sense. I mean, they've got a lot of money, I'm sure, but
not Activision's money.
Not Activision's endless pit of
microtransaction
money of doom. Essentially what it is showcasing is Eris Morn. Is that correct, Luke?
Yes, I think that's her name.
Eris Morn is back. She's on the moon as well this time.
Yeah, she disappeared for a long ass time.
Yeah, and she's back on the moon. And
she loves that moon.
I mean, everybody loves the moon because that is
I
where
love the moon.
Oh my lord, you just don't like cheese. That's why.
I love cheese.
Well, then you should love the moon. Anyways, going back to the main point at hand here. She's back. It's based a lot of the action in the trailer is based on the moon. It shows a lot of switching between like going underground, overground, and guess who the main enemy is? The Hive. Woo.
I feel they need a new enemy.
I feel there's many other things. I mean, I know they're trying to create this in-depth lore with each of these characters, and like the whole point of Eris Morn being linked to the Hive and whatnot. It'd be a little bit weird if they showed Eris Morn on the moon and said, yeah, this is some microplasm from another planet, and it's like a squid, and it ate people whole or Guardians whole and stuff that light out. Yeah, I'm just saying, obviously, as just an example, and
wait to new Hive then.
I'm sure Hive there will be. They'll have the Hive will be different in some sense. They won't be exactly the same as before. They must do something different because otherwise, this is really not going to be going down very well.
Let's repeat.
Again, because it's just a cinematic trailer, you can't get any feel for it or anything like that. You just go off what you see. And what you go off what you see looks okay.
I feel like it's the Taken King DLC of the second one.
Yeah,
which was good. And did bring a lot of sort of back to the game from the two prior that was...
What, in Destiny 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the Taken King as well.
Yeah, the ones prior to that were both Garbo.
We're supposed to be talking about Destiny 2, not definitely Destiny.
I'm using it as a comparison. the Destiny 2 DLCs that we've had already,
yeah,
the Egyptian one...
Forsaken was okay.
Done Forsaken. The Egyptian one and the one after it, I don't know, whatever it was called. Rasputin. Garbo, rubbish, and then they make the good one.
Yeah, which is Forsaken, and then this is the last one for Destiny 2, because no doubt they'll be releasing Destiny 3 next year, just because that seems the sort of timescale that they normally work to. This is potentially going to be good. I mean, because, like I said, because they haven't got Activision watching over their shoulder and forcing them to put microtransactions to every little aspect of the game, I have better hopes for it. I mean, again, this is a problem, is we haven't seen anything, so what can we say that we like and we don't like, and does it look refreshed, does it look new, does it look better, does it look smoother, does it look like it's going back to what it should be? I can't say.
No, and we need a gameplay trailer.
Unfortunately, and this isn't... it is Bungie and it's not Bungie's fault. I'm not going to get this until it's out and I see what people say, because it's just not... doesn't seem to be there.
After Destiny 2 feeling like playing the whole same game again, I haven't got much hope for the DLC being... Yeah, I'm sure it'll be a good DLC, but it's not going to be an amazing DLC. It's going to be like a game changer for it. So.
With it's only still been a short while since they've been separated, so there's not going to be too much new influences from being separated going to be involved, but what we can potentially see is Destiny 3 next year will be completely different.
I'm hoping they'll go completely sort of next level and blow us all out the water. So
I think it's if you're a massive Destiny fan, which there still is quite a lot of them, then it's something you could go into. But with the current showing, all we can say to you is
I feel like Destiny 2 is done.
Destiny 2 is done. Yeah, fair enough. With this one, Eris Morn is back, which everybody loved Eris Morn because she was funny, along with Cade. Well, obviously,
she wasn't funny. She was very droll, like
exactly, but
serious.
Which is why she was funny. You stole her shit.
Had Zanala, whatever his name is.
No, not Zenyatta.
Zavala. Zavala. Yeah, he was droll and serious.
Well, that was the problem that the game originally had. We're not going to go into this. We're not going to go into a talk about Destiny and what we thought was droll, because Pokemon Sword and Shield. They had another direct.
This is good stuff.
You didn't cheer for that one either. That was the worst cheer ever. This was shown on the 5th of June, which for us was yesterday. Yesterday. What a trail of foot. I'm tired. They showed a few more Pokemon, including the legendaries, which we will discuss. I'm sure you might
try and pronounce their names after 10 minutes beforehand.
I was going to say, I can't even pronounce most of the blimmin' first gen names properly still.
Shame.
It's not like one of those things where somebody tells you, oh no, this is how it's pronounced, and you're like, is it really?
You say all their names wrong, so...
No, I don't.
Ponyta.
Yeah. Oh yeah. At least I don't say Tentacruel.
No one does that.
Yeah. So they had another direct. Then they showed off a lot more of the game. Its major gimmick, what the Gala region is like. What
Pokemon Brits.
That's
what it's called. That's what it's been.
Oh, it's in Britain.
Yeah,
that's
what it's been named.
You were going with that. I thought you were like saying that it was like the continent was called Brit or something like that.
No, that's what it's been named.
Gala. So they showed way more of the game. They showed a little bit more of like the Pokemon, like its encounters and everything like that. Everything that you can think of, they showed a little bit. Okay, ready?
Steady.
We'll go into it. So we'll start off with the new Pokemon that they've announced and shown. So you've got Gossifleur, and its evolution Eldegoss was shown. They're floating plants, exactly what you'd expect from them.
Jump Fluff and
Skiploom. Essentially. So Gossifleur is, again, sorry for the pronunciation, is like a floating spiky plant. It's just, and do you know what? I looked at this and I just sort of think like the grass Pokemon, they never get the good end of the stick. You never see one with like killer spiky vines, like trying to stab things or like sharp and whatnot. They just, name a cool. The only cool Pokemon, grass Pokemon I think of straight off the top of my head that looks cool is Venusaur. Not cute. Cute's a different matter, but cool. Venusaur looks cool, but you don't. Grass Pokemon normally get the short end of the stick in this.
I like Sceptile.
Sceptile's cool.
Yeah,
definitely agree with that. Grovil's quite cool. Trico ain't.
No, Trico was basic.
Yeah, too basic.
Yeah.
And that's why it falls under the cute category. Anyway, so moving on. So Gossifleur is a floating sort of plant thing. It's got like little red spikes coming out of it. Exactly how you'd imagine like sort of like a bouquet of flowers sort of like held together. It looks like that. And then it evolves into Eldegoss, which is essentially a jump pluff. But the jump pluff bit of the body, the pluffy bit, is on its back and it's got seeds in it. And then its face is at the front.
I said everything you just said.
Exactly.
Yep, I know exactly what Pokemon looks like now.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Grass Pokemon get the short end of the stick, unfortunately. However,
because they're made of sticks.
However, the coolest Pokemon that I loved from this direct is Wooloo. He is a sheep, and he is just a ball of fluff. And that's he's not cool. He's on the cute category, but he is a ball of fluff. And literally, just draw a circle, and then put a couple of eyes in it, make it look woolly. I'm not very good with drawing, so I don't know really what to suggest there. Put little
Shaun
circles.
The Sheep.
It's Shaun the Sheep, but in Pokemon form,
yeah.
And it's called Wooloo, and it looks cute.
There is a very cool looking Pokemon in this. Not cute, cool.
Cool. Which one are you talking about?
You know what I'm on about.
You're definitely talking about Corviknight.
Oh, yeah.
Corviknight, the big steel crow Pokemon.
Definitely. Better than Skarmory. Skarmory can suck shit.
Yeah, I mean, Corviknight, it looks like it's got a suit of armour on a massive crow. I looked at this and I was just sort of
It looks like it's a Corvian crow as well, which is really cool.
It looks almost like what you'd imagine Pokemon would do if they took Dark Souls armor and they're just sort of like, we'll just put this on the Pokemon.
That
and then
gives me shivers.
Sort of like, and tingles you.
I like that.
It gives you the fizz.
Can you imagine fighting like real life Pokemon in Dark Souls? There's a mod for that.
There's a mod for that. That looks really cool. It's massive black raven. It's got armor all over it. It just looks like a badass Pokemon. That looks cool. Skarmory was cool for its time.
Skarmory's derp now.
But compared to this, Skarmory is the bird you'd let free. You'd release him for this. You'd
Bye.
Make room.
Bye, bird.
Bye, birdie. Which is quite cool. You then had Dreadnought, which is just known as the Bite Pokemon. They haven't given a type for this at all.
The biting type Pokemon.
Well, I mean, that to me says Dark and Ground I'm going with.
Dread, yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, so obviously it's a play on Dreadnought, funny. And it's got bigger, chunky, bitey Pokemon, so it's like jaws.
Looks a bit like
a big turtle.
What's Turtwig's evolution?
No, I tell you what it looks like. It looks like, if you've ever played Final Fantasy X, which you haven't, there's just stop complaining. There's Adamantoise. Just imagine that, but in like a more like Pokemon-y way, where it's all squished together and it's got a big jaw. It looks like that. That thing will learn Flamethrower.
Oh dear God.
So that was quite a cool looking Pokemon. And then they did show the legendaries, as we said, which is apologies for pronunciation. Zaxian.
That's how I've seen a few pronunciation guides pronounce it.
Yeah,
so
pronunciation guides. There's formal guides written on the pronunciation of this. So Zaxian and Zamazenta. I don't know why I put like a bit of a French accent
now
on
it's
that.
Spanish.
Zamazenta, Spanish. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. Zamazenta. Okay, there we go. English or hillbilly, whatever we call. What we call down here. Janner. That's it. Those are the legendaries. So Zaxian. See, I'm getting it all
Pokemon
wrong.
Sif.
Yeah, that is the first thing that you get from it. Is essentially it holds the sword in its mouth, exactly like Sif from Dark Souls 1. A lot of Dark Souls references. I think Nintendo are gonna hold Dark Souls 4,
Nintendo did put Dark Souls on their new console.
and they should definitely put Dark Souls into Mario Kart. Do you imagine just having the big knight just sort of driving around?
Imagine just driving around like Smo.
Or Sif the Scaleless. Oh, just like a big ass dragon. Anyways, we'll keep it formal. So he has a massive sword in his mouth. He's all blue and quite cool looking, I thought, weirdly. Did you like the idea of him?
I was not sure at first, but now that I've looked at it and seen it,
yeah,
and they have cool names. I'm happy with their names.
yeah. The names are nice and different enough. I mean, we play lots of Pokemon wordplay games, so that's a couple of new Z's that we've now got in our Pokemon games. Two new Z's. But hopefully Corviknight will evolve, and that will give us another cool Z name. We're going really far-fetched here. Anyway, so Zaxian looks like Sif. It's got a sword in its mouth. Wolf-like. It's really
They're
cool.
wolves, yeah. Legendary wolves.
And then Zamazenta. Spanish again?
Yep.
Yeah, apologise.
Apologise.
Apologise. Has a massive shield on like his breasts of like
breasts.
No, like
chest
or breast. Well, because they're called breastplates.
But he's a dog.
Okay, chest then. You know what I mean? They essentially like on that little pedantic. Like that furry bit when you go up to a dog and you scratch it on its. Yeah, it is called a chest, isn't it?
Literally
when you go and scratch it, that bit there, the bit where you're good boy sort of thing, and it's not his head, it's the bit underneath his chin. That bit there has got like loads of armor plating coming out, and it looks like
goes back to his legs as well. Yeah,
it looks really cool. I think I like the look of Sword more. Just because I like the fact that it's like Sif, and I can imagine that on your screen when you enter a battle and you send that out, he's there like flipping the sword round in his mouth. Like,
do you reckon he draws it, or do you reckon it's there like permanently?
No, it's there permanently. He's not going to draw it, is he? He's pretty much human then.
Well, how's he supposed to eat, talk, do anything?
I bet. Well, this is Pokemon, so what they'll say is that when he cuts enemies with his sword, it absorbs their blood.
So his sword is a straw. It better be a paper straw, otherwise the universe is going to kick off. I'm
glad you said it, because I was going to say it otherwise. So yeah, they both look really cool. I'm quite happy with all of these designs. They, apart from the grass ones, are sort of passable. I'm just sort of like, yeah, they're just there for being there. All the other ones are I think they're quite nice designs. I think they're quite unique, but
yeah,
but
they
not too far gone.
They look like Pokemon, but they don't look like Digimon.
Yeah.
Which some of the Pokemon did.
Yeah, exactly. That's the best way to put it, is it's going the right way about it so far. There's obviously way more that's going to be released. It'd be a bit of a short generation if there was only, about 10 Pokemon that got released extra.
We need more than that.
Well, yeah, we need more than that.
Thank you, please.
And they showed a lot more of the game's open world.
Did I see a girl riding a bike over a lake in this?
No.
I'm pretty sure I saw a Milotic swimming and a girl just go shitting past on her bike in the water.
I mean, maybe I missed that, and maybe she was in the shallow bit.
I don't know, because a Milotic nearby swimming. Whether she was going that fast, she could tread water on her bike.
I'm not quite sure. There is bikes are back. That was something we were going to bring up in a bit.
So it's plausible.
It's completely plausible. So essentially, what they've got is they've got an area essentially called the Wilds, which by the looks of it looks massive. Yeah, that's definitely how it looks. The wild area looks massive. There's lots of Pokemon roaming around. By the looks of it, you can interact with them as well, so you can fight them. So say, for example, if you saw a Milotic in the water, then you should be able to fight it. I'd like to hope that it's going to be a little bit dirty if they say, oh, look, this is the wilds where everything around you is an enemy, and then you've got all these Pokemon walking around and can't interact with
just
them.
background.
Exactly. So, like, seeing, like, a Gyarados or a Milotic poking out the water, and then you can go and, like, interact with it, that'd be quite cool.
Sneak it behind.
They do still have the encounters in the grass, which, like, I'm calling them sneak attacks, where the Pokemon sneak up.
You do actually sneak up in this one, don't you?
Yeah, you could sneak up in the older ones as well.
I remember it in
Omega Ruby and
White. You could literally like target them with a little machine and then you sneak.
Yeah, I think you're thinking of Alpha Sapphire or Omega Ruby.
Yeah, might be.
Yeah, maybe. So that's quite cool. Then you've got the randomness factor still implemented into the game, which is really nice, and that you probably get different Pokemon there. And then obviously you've got the ones that are traveling about. Obviously, you're going to see things in certain areas. So if you're in the desert area, you're going to see desert Pokemon, and obviously if you're in the water area, you're going to see water Pokemon. I don't really have to explain this, because anybody that is old enough to listen to us dribble, then they probably know what we're talking about. Although I did see a Tyranitar walking through a forest.
Well, that's fine. That's not completely impossible.
I mean, I'm not saying that Tyranitar can survive in forests. I mean, they are weak to grass, but
in the Pokemon series on Netflix, there's a Tyranitar in an ice cave.
No.
Riddle me that one.
Well, he's strong against ice, so surely he likes that place. He's like, I can own anybody in here. That's why all the other Pokemon left the cave.
There was a load of
we need to focus.
Alolan Sandshrew.
The way it's all styled and the way it's all laid out reminded me heavily of Breath of the Wild. You haven't played Breath of the Wild, have you?
No,
exactly. I bring this up all the time just to remind our viewers that we have an inexperienced Breath of the Wild player here.
I've played it.
Exactly. The way it's all laid out and the way you interact with the world. So they've got like beams of light, which is used. Those are sort of used in the Breath of the Wild, so it can be sort of like drawn across. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, they've taken hints, and it seems like they've taken hints and ideas, because we don't know how big and open this open world is, but it looks really cool. I mean, a lot of the Pokemon that they've shown walking around in these areas, they didn't want to show too many new Pokemon, so obviously they're just showing you all the old ones at the moment.
I saw a Butterfree.
I saw a Golurk. There's a lot of real interesting points here. Like, because they're going full open area or open world, I'm going to call it, there is so much more that they're going to be able to do. And I like the idea of, say, for example, the Milotic, like you're saying, on the lake, you could, in a certain sense, get like a quest or something, sort of like, oh, if you throw a pearl into the lake, the Milotic will spit back out another item that's more useful. Do you see where I'm going with this? Sort of like interactable assistive quests with random Pokemon.
It'd be nice to have a Pokemon game that isn't like you're literally stuck to this path.
Yeah, so linear and whatnot.
Yeah.
And you could even do certain things where if you find certain like 3 different rocks within the world and you put them in these certain spots in the wild area, then it could spawn a rare Pokemon once a day or something. So say, for example, like a Spirit Tube.
You could place like humane traps or
humane traps.
Yeah,
I'll let you take. I'll let
like
you
a
have that.
pile of berries somewhere,
pile of berries. I mean,
and then you go see what you've lured.
Pretty much have that with Crab Brawler anyway.
Exactly.
He just sits in all his berries. Yeah, this is opening up a lot more opportunities. I mean, Pokemon has always had that opportunity anyway, where they could go a little bit more in depth, but they never have. This is opening that up to a little bit more. So there's a couple of things that I wanted to note on this as well. The bike is back, like you were saying. Apparently it's a water bike as well. The bike looks quite cool. I quite like the bikes as well. It's better than blimmin' rollerblading around and whatnot. And then you've now actually got, and this is what I think this is underappreciated, is now you've got a 3D camera. All right. So which is quite, so obviously because you're in these open worlds, you can go up, down, left, right, diagonal, and all of this and all of that. There's a more freely movable camera. You can see all around you. I think that's really cool. I don't know why, but it's just because it's showing the step from going from this has been on your handhelds for so long. We're now got it on our main systems, and this is what we can give you. So that's really cool. And the weather will be affecting what you see. And there's got to be a way to influence the weather, like late games. You can make it hail all the time. You just get all the avalugs wandering about.
Yeah, just get something nice, rainy day or a sunny day.
Yeah, I mean,
it
could be quite as simple as that. That'll probably no doubt affect the Pokemon that you see. And if going off of, well, I mean, sunny day and all of that has always affected your in-game battles as well. So I guess that'll still work for that as well. Yep. It's just something that you just got to. It's good to see that they're taking this modern step where they're stepping in the right direction and bringing a really interesting and good concepts, and they're putting it into this game more than you'd half expect them to, because Pokemon have always kept to this sort of linear, so it's got to be like this and make sure it's aimed at children, and at the end of the day no children plays this. Kids don't exist when it comes to Pokemon. It's 23-year-old adults that are sat around going, well, I've finished work for the week, I better play Pokemon all weekend. That's all they do. It's no wonder that we've got financial problems in this country. All of the young workers just want to play Pokemon. So that's really cool. And the wilds do just look amazing. That is something I just have to address, is that they do look really good. And there is a lot of ways that this will influence the way that you can play the game, like we were saying before. But there is one big thing that they have shown through this, is raid battles.
I'm so surprised they put this in.
Yeah.
The way they've done it is good, but I am surprised that they have done it.
Yeah, so it's not Pokemon Go style raid battles where you have to buy a pass and you can only do one a day, and then you have to give them your life,
it's
your
not the
soul,
money
and
making
your money.
raid. Yeah.
No, this is not Niantic. This is Nintendo and Game Freak. This is going to be good. So, raid battles, 4 against 1 big Pokemon. And this is the big gimmick.
The big
gimmick. The big gimmick.
The big gimmick of the big Pokemon.
Yeah, that is not an innuendo. They're called Dynamax Pokemon, and they are massive. They're just fat. No, not fat. They're big versions of Pokemon. So say, for example, if you're Raichu, of average height of 5 foot, being a Dynamax, it's now 38 foot.
It is literally huge.
That's pretty much all it does, and obviously no more details have been shown, but chances are it basically means it's stronger, it's going to have higher defense. Yeah.
It only lasts for a few turns, though, I did read.
So the way this works is, obviously, if you're fighting, say, for example, a raid boss, where it will be you and 3 other people, can be randoms online, and it can also be your friends, which is going to be so good if you could, say, for example, explore the wilds with your friends. That would be awesome. You're all going to be working together to take down this raid boss. So let's just use Gyarados as the example here. As they did. So you all walk up, you interact with this stone, all 4 of you fight this Gyarados, which is massive and super strong and super powerful, and it's no doubt going to attack everybody at once, probably with like slightly weaker moves, because it can hit 4 people at once. Do you feel me?
They could do it and let you target one.
Yeah. Only you, as the character player, you can use Dynamax Pokemon. However, as Luke said, it only lasts for 3 turns when you use it.
If you're confused, wasted.
Yeah. and if you're in these raid groups, only one of you can use a Dynamax.
Oh really? That I did not know.
So you're setting your Their way of putting it is you need to work together as a team to make sure the right person knows who's using Dynamax. And we all know that that's not going to happen. It's going to be the very first turn, the very first thing everyone is going to do is go and try and use their Dynamax and see who gets it
they're
first.
going to like Dynamax a freaking Shuckle or something and just screw the world.
I mean, again, this is the things. It does open up a lot of opportunities and like what can go right, what can go wrong, and everything like that. But when you think about it like this, is these raid battles and these Dynamax battles where you're fighting the big Pokemon, is there could be, say, for example, a Mewtwo one. And even if you had all level 100 Pokemon, you still have to work together as a team to beat it down. So that's when it would encourage you to team up with your actual real life friends, if you have any, or get like more interaction where you do have to plan things like that. It might not work like that, but I'm just saying, like, they can make it a little bit harder.
Yeah.
And there could be more room for error there because there's 4 of you, and then if you get everybody just using their Pokemon that aren't particularly strong, you've matched with 3 randoms online, and they're all called Billy. They live in the countryside and they have no internet and they can't use Stadia, and they all decide to use a Gyarados against a Mewtwo, and the Gyarados doesn't know bite or crunch.
Oh, damn it.
Exactly, I covered my ass there. Then there's this possibility where things could be a little bit harder than you'd expect. And that would be cool.
With any aspect of playing games online.
Yeah, no, that's just the online game.
Everyone knows teammates ruin everything.
I mean, it is Pokemon and the Nintendo company. They don't want to make things too hard and put too many people off, but it would be quite nice to see that included as just sort of like a couple of extra secret bosses. I mean, they always had Red. Red was insanely hard. He had a level 88 Pokemon. I remember one time I had to beat him by just constantly using max revives and revives until he ran out of moves.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, I know, it's embarrassing, isn't it? But that's just something to consider. That's essentially the idea and what they've shown so far.
I don't like the Pokeballs.
Yeah, when you do catch a
throw
Dynamax,
a massive Pokeball.
Yeah, like over your head, sort of massive, sort of like a massive beach ball. So that looks really cool. And
I feel like
weird thing is you can play this online with your friends. This is what they're saying. You can play it online with your friends. Mario Maker 2 can't do that.
I feel like Dynamaxing is not so much as a backward step from Mega Evolution, but I feel like it's a side step.
Yeah, I'll give you that. It's like Z moves as well, which are back in this again, obviously. It's their new gimmick, their new way of introducing something. They don't want to start getting too confusing or anything like that. I think it's a nice, cool. It's not a big gimmick, like you said. It's just a side gimmick, something small, something different that we can do. Ready to move on?
Go for it.
Right, sweet.
We're an hour in.
We're an hour in. Oh my lord, people are going to be falling asleep to this. Gyms are back to normal. They're no longer like this go around doing weird random challenges, which was quite cool in Sun and Moon. I did quite like them.
Oh, they got crazy in Let's Go, didn't they? Some of the gyms. You had to wander on all these like mazes and.
Did you play Sun and Moon?
No.
Okay, so in Sun and Moon, the gyms weren't anything like that. The gyms were like sort of like, oh, you have to go and find this Pokemon in this grassland. So say, for example, when you're doing the grass gym, you had to go and pick the right bits of fruit from these certain areas and then mix them all together to make a potion to basically then be allowed to fight the gym leader. And if you pick the wrong... Listen, stop falling asleep. And if you pick the wrong ingredients, you would then actually make it harder on yourself, because then more Pokemon would essentially come and attack you while you're mixing your ingredients, which is quite a cool concept. It's like, and they obviously went on off that into a lot of other things. It's quite a cool concept. It did work and it didn't work.
Sounds like a pain in the ass.
Yeah, but then
not a good pain in the ass.
But then like some people find a pain in the ass just trainer battles in general. They just avoid every trainer they see.
Guilty.
I used to do that when I was younger,
AF.
and I never understood. I don't understand why. I'm like, I need that XP.
Yeah.
So
but they always tell you your worst time. You're just about to die. You got one Pokemon left. It's like,
well, then go backwards. Don't go forwards. The gyms are back to normal, and they seem to be encouraging Dynamax fights. So they showed the grass gym off, and the fact that he uses a Dynamax Pokemon.
I wonder if it's certain Pokemon or it's another bracelet. So I'm assuming it's going to be a case of getting a Dynamax bracelet, a Dynamax crystal.
The way they showed it, the way they showed it is that the grass gym is early on, and you can Dynamax early on. It may not be the case. I mean, Z moves, you could use them pretty early on, so it's completely possible. And they're not.
Do you reckon
they are overpowered, and they're not overpowered. I mean, if you're somebody that's good at the game, chances are you can use and abuse it.
Do you reckon it's a consumable item like the Z crystals? No,
they're not consumable items.
In the series, they are.
Are they?
Yeah, once you use it, that's it. We'll get another one.
The series ain't having a good day, is it? They've got some new characters. Professor Magnolia, which is a tree,
which
by the way.
is a confirmed tree. Yeah, I did look it up.
We were getting upset with that. The new champion is called Leon, and he has a pet Charizard.
Have we had a Leon already?
No, we had a Lance.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
All right.
And then his son, Hop, is your rival.
Hop?
I'm pretty sure it's his son.
Why can't we rename him?
Pot. I don't know what do you want to rename. It's the first thing that came to my mind. When you said rename him, I just thought of what's Hop backwards and came up with Pot.
Paw.
Anyway, yeah, go on. But I'm sure you might be able to rename him. I'm just going off of what they tell me.
That's a stupid ass name.
Okay, well, you're just sour and bitter and old.
Well, at least I'm not called Hop. Hop 2.
Hop 2. And that's mainly everything that they showed from the Direct. So it was quite big, quite a lot of information. It was only 15 minutes, and we've managed to talk about it for the best part of an hour and a half. Just to go over the key points there. Out in the wild, open world, really cool exploration.
Spitting Milotics.
Riding bikes on water, raid battles, Dynamax Pokemon where they grow really big, and a couple of really cool looking characters, the usual sort of thing. Okay, how do you feel this is a step for the Pokemon games? Because obviously we've gone from, like I said before, handheld up to big console now. Well, the most powerful console that Nintendo have made. How do you feel this is going for them?
It's a big jump from what they've done before, but it's not too big that it's like feeling like a completely different type of game anymore. So they found a very good sort of area.
Yeah. Do you think they've played it a little bit safe? Potentially
in some areas. From what I've seen so far, I'm not 100% sure. But there's seems to be a lot of new things in so far, and hopefully, obviously, we'll see a lot more new things as the game goes on. We're actually playing it. But no, I think it's good. I wasn't mind blown by a lot of the stuff in it, but I was like, yeah, this is good. I'm okay with this. So,
what don't you like about it? Is there anything that you don't like about it?
What's that I don't like? I'm just like, it's
sort of there, and you're just sort of like, I'm happy to go with it.
Dynamaxing didn't blow me away either. I was like, it's cool. It's not as cool as things we've seen before. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's just cool.
Yeah. So, and is there anything that you really, really want to see?
That bike. Going over the water.
That bike. The water.
I'll be tackling Gyarados with my bike.
I mean, IGN did say there's too much water in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. So now, if there is too much water in this, at least you can traverse it quickly.
I wonder if they'll bring back the friends alongside you.
I really hope they do, but I doubt it.
It's rideable Pokemon again.
Well, they said that the Corviknight, he's going to be what's transporting you from town to town. So I believe that you'll find him in a town.
Oh, damn, that bird must be massive.
Well, he's not... Well, he is big, I'm sure, but remember that he's a kid. I always forget that you're meant to be a kid. You're not actually...
10-year-old.
I mean, no Corviknight would be lifting me, put it that way.
Not one, anyway.
Not one. A flock of Corviknight, go!
A swarm.
Why do you only have Corviknight in your party? Well, I've got to use Fly at some point.
One for each limb.
And those are the... what's the 6 limbs?
Yeah, you got one for each, that's 4.
Okay, so that's 4. 2 arms and 2 legs.
Yeah, and you got one for like your torso, your centerpiece.
Okay.
then one to sort of guide the way.
One to guide the way.
Yeah, like
I
Rudolph.
genuinely thought you were going to go for head then. I
did think about it, but I should imagine
be a little bit morbid seeing somebody being carried through the air, hung to death by the Corviknight.
I just imagine like the claws around the head is not going to be a practical way of carrying.
See, I was thinking of ropes. I didn't think that they would... Oh, God, that sounds horrible.
I think like come out and grabbing you with their
feet. You come out of your... You come out of your...
You starfishing, like one on each end, and then just carrying you away. Like in Dark Souls when you get picked up by the imp things, like that.
Can you imagine if they dropped you?
Well, they catch you. I think.
So I was thinking you like sort of like
if they're darts up,
when you're like about to go to work in the morning, you just go out your front door, you stand there, do like a star pose, and your crows just come off your
just
tree,
jump,
just grab each limb and fly off. It's ridiculous.
That would blow my mind.
And these were the main things that we had to talk about this week. It's been an interesting week. There's been a couple of big things. Obviously, Stadia. No professional talk. Stadia has announced more and given more details. Less professional talk. It's shit. And you've had the Pokemon Direct. Destiny 2 has shown their new stuff off. So it's looking good, but obviously we've still got the massive build-up of E3 over the weekend. We'll be releasing another podcast late on Tuesday or early on Wednesday, depending on where you live and how quick we are on uploading. How slow we are on uploading. There are a couple of things just to quickly go over on the wind down. Take us through it, Luke, because you are the king of the wind down.
I always find these random, like little just facts. Nothing worth deep diving in, but so we touched upon it earlier. Sony has announced there is going to be an increase in their pricing. Mm-hmm. It's weird though; it's not like a umbrella thing. It is certain locations and only certain packages.
Yeah, so it's like the lesser packages. It's sort of like if you were to buy like 3 months or 1 month or 6 months, not the yearly cost.
So far, it's been announced in Asia and Europe. Nothing for the UK specifically where we are. I don't pay for PlayStation Plus anyway, so I don't give a shit. But such as France, Germany, Norway and Sweden, they're looking at... it's about sort of an extra 10 increase to what their money is.
10?
Yeah.
Are we talking yen here?
No, not in Germany, we're not.
Yeah, obviously not. 10 euros? That's a massive increase for 1 month.
There's a lot of...
Basically, it's changing across the board. It's just something to keep you aware of. And again, like we're saying, this is what's sort of upsetting people is the fact that they're charging more, they're bringing up these prices. It's regardless of whether this is actually affecting them or not. If they're saying, oh no, we're putting up our charges for just small incremental price buys, then it's going to upset people because, again, they're not necessarily delivering more on their games where they've just taken more games away. They've pulled out of E3. They're not doing much or being fancy at all, but they're saying, no, we need more money.
Apparently Sweden is getting an increase on all 3 types of subscriptions.
Valuable information.
I've just read into it and I was like, wow, Sweden
if you are
shafted.
Swedish and you are listening, tell us how you feel.
Ripped
in
off,
general,
I'd imagine. Sad they're going to miss out on more than that extra 10 whatever it is they pay for.
What else have you got to tell us about?
So PlayStation 3 multiplayer service for Naughty Dog are eventually coming down. Last of Us and Uncharted. But they have announced as a little sort of a farewell, sort of out with a bang, the DLC for multiplayer is now available free on the store.
Yeah.
That's so everyone can get, even the people who haven't been playing it for years can now go in and benefit off all those dedicated people.
It's just
like what Halo did.
Yeah, it's a nice little touch, I would say.
Yeah, Halo did similar. They gave everyone the armor at the end who was still playing it. Was it Halo 2 when the server shut down?
Yeah.
Everyone got the armor, so I think that's fair. It's not a case of, oh, we're cancelling it because it's costing us money. So there you go, have that.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's things have got to come to an end, and at least they're going out nicely.
Yep. And as a delayed segue back to Pokemon, probably because of the release of the Adventure Sync, Pokemon Go is ending the Apple Watch support. So as they want to focus on one device. So
if you do use your Apple Watch as your running device, you now can't walk your Pokemon as much with it.
Nope, so just put your phone in your pocket, just like you probably do anyway.
Well, not if you're on Apple Watch 3, you can store the songs on your watch.
Yes, but
So basically, Niantic is saying you're not worth our trouble.
no, I don't think I would have used it much anyway.
Do you have an Apple Watch?
No, but I had.
Then you
access
have
to
no
one.
comment on
I
this.
have access to
Having
one.
access to one and using one is two different things.
I see why they're doing it. They want people focusing on this.
On their phone.
They want people playing the game.
Do you know why that is? It's because you have to
That's
be on
where
your
they make the
phone
money.
to buy your raid passes. And is that everything then?
No.
What is the big, super stinky bit of information you've got to tell us? Last of all,
of all the things I've ever read, I want this to be. I want to forget about it and it to not to happen because I do not understand why this is a thing.
all the suspense is killing me.
So Microsoft, Xbox have released. I can't even say it. It's too wrong. They have announced a new line of products.
What kind of products?
Oh well,
A new Xbox? A new controller, maybe?
no, a production line of cosmetic such as body washes, deodorant, and body sprays.
I always want to smell like gamer around all of my friends.
Why is of all the things that Microsoft and Xbox could be producing right now?
The Xbox ain't getting many sales, so they got to do something else.
Is this what they purchased those 14 studios
Yeah.
for?
We've bought 14 new studios to design our new lotion bottle that you can rub on your boyfriend's back.
I don't. Why of all the things like and other companies will go into fragrances and things like that for their stuff.
For their stuff.
Yeah, but this of all things, of all the companies to go into body washes, why is it Xbox? Why are you giving someone an item that will take them away from your main selling item?
God, and they called this a wind down.
Wind me up. Pissing me off.
So if you are a gaming company out
Will
there,
you go out and buy this?
I'll bet you someone at Christmas will buy it for me.
As a joke present, yeah,
No,
fair
not
enough.
even as a joke present. You know that your grandparents always love getting you your deodorant bottles and your smellies to make you smell. Cause they're like, my precious little grandchild, he's got to smell like flowers. They'll see this and they'll go, I remember my son.
What's it going
my
to smell
grandson."
like? Hot plastic and metal.
just
like hand
it's
sweat.
It's just pure teenage sweat. Is all it
Cheetos
is.
and Mountain Dew.
Oh, that'd be a strong odour. I tell you what, there's going to be somebody that'll be very good looking that'll put that on and they'll go out for the first time and they'll attract a young.
Could you imagine
A
telling
young
someone,
partner.
"Oh, what are you wearing?" Xbox. What the?
Do you reckon they'll name it like their systems as well? I'm wearing the Xbox 64 fragrance from Ben.
Oh no, it's too much. It's not. It's unnecessary.
It's just weird. There's just no need for it. I mean, they had to have a marketing team. This is what they have a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, but why on earth were they spending money on that? Spend some put that money towards your first party games.
Exactly. I want Xbox in my living room, my TV, not in my bathtub.
I'm not gonna even give a back comment to that. Is that it for this week?
That is everything.
That is it for this week.
I'm furious.
Furious. We always.
I need to bath the wine down and not with Xbox.
Just wash it off yourself. I'll buy you some lotion.
Give me some freaking Radox.
So, another busy week. If you are still listening at this point, which you probably won't be, unless you're really dedicated or you can't turn it off for whatever reason. E3 is this weekend. We will do 2 podcasts next week as well, where we'll talk about everything that happened at E3, the big announcements. Elliot will be joining us, so there'll be 3 of us to talk about things. So that means you can listen to somebody more intelligent than the 2 of us by the sounds of it.
I dare you, sir.
I smite thee.
Slander.
So that's going to be a very, very big and important podcast next Tuesday/Wednesday, depending on how well we get on. So, other than that, enjoy E3.
I can't wait to see what Xbox are going to announce that isn't
That isn't Bayonetta
wash.
3.
Why would Xbox be announcing Bayonetta 3?
That's what I'm saying. They won't be
Oh,
announcing
if it came back to the main to Xbox, I would be happy.
Why? What's wrong with you? What's the point in you having a Switch if you don't actually use it?
I do use it. I use it for Bayonetta 2.
You've got Bayonetta 2 on your Xbox.
No, I don't. Bayonetta 2 never came out on Xbox.
What were we playing it on the other day then?
Switch.
No.
Bayonetta 1's on my Xbox.
Bayonetta 2...
2's on the Switch. 'Cause it was released
When
on
did
the
we
Wii
play-
U.
Oh, yeah. Okay. It all makes sense now. The Tetris pieces in my mind have just fallen into place.
And crumbling still.
They're crumbling still. No, that's just the rest of my brain. We'll leave it there. This has been way longer of a podcast than I ever thought it was going to be. I'll tell you what, it's that Google Stadia. Bastards causing us problems, and it's not even out yet. Have a lovely week, enjoy E3, and we will catch up with you on the morrow year or on the morrow week.
What the? Bye.